Hi, welcome back to the Art Corner. It's been a while. This is for Easter. We're going to do a little bunny, profound for spring. We'll do a little, but everybody likes an Easter bunny. And this one's real simple, and I went ahead and drew him ahead of time, but I do want to check my lines. Here's my art reference. And this is just a photograph I picked up somewhere, but just want to make sure before you get started, you check your negative space in your bunny all around him, and then your positive space. Just compare your ears to each other. His cheek is maybe just a little bit chubby. We can fix that with background. And I've already sprayed him, and I've added a little bunny tail down here. That's not actually in the picture, but it's Easter, so we'll do that. Now what we want to do is, as always, you want to start with the background first. In order for my lines not to go away, I sprayed it with hairspray. Now you can use an acrylic fixative. You can use any kind of art store supply similar to a hairspray. Take it in, lightly coat your lines, let it dry, and when you start doing background, you won't lose all your pencil sketch. All right, let me go ahead and get started. We want a light, springy background. It's kind of a watercolor. I'm gonna get my large brush, and because it is watercolor, you want to add a lot of water. We're going to start at the top up here, and you can see it's light. It's got both colors, the blue and the green, but very faded. So bear with me. Let me get this on my brush. I'm just using a paper plate, getting both of my colors up here in this little section. That's about the color. Let's get up here and do this background first. This little Easter bunny would be a cute reference to go have cards made for Easter. And really, people like bunnies all the time, so. But it would make a cute Easter card. Let me go ahead and quickly get my background on here. I am using acrylic, so water is my blending medium. If it was oil, turpentine, or mineral spirits would be my blending medium with a little linseed oil. But acrylic, we're going to do this because it dries fast, blends easy, and we'll be able to move quickly with it. Here we go. Take your paint, take it right up to the edge of your bunny, and we won't lose lines because I sprayed it. We want it to look kind of like he's out maybe in an open field somewhere. Real light and airy. And it's okay if you get one side just a little more bold than the other. The light source on this bunny is headed this way. So I'll show you how to show that with highlights. We're going to use a white acrylic paint pen today. That's something new we hadn't tried before, but it's perfect for Easter bunny whiskers or real fine highlights. And it is paint, it's not a Sharpie. You can buy those at art stores too. They're kind of a new thing. They're a lot of fun. All right, I'm getting my white down in here. It's hard to see, kind of, but add a little more blue. It's okay if it drips. Trying to work fast. Here we go. Let's get the green down here a little strong. I've missed you all. Here we go. He's already starting to pop. And really that's what you want, the background. You think, well, it's not that big a deal, doesn't make that much difference, but actually your background will make it. And sometimes you can even pick a subject just because of the background. The other bunny that I thought about doing, check him out. Look at the background on him. I thought about using that. That would be a wonderful oil study. But this guy's going to be a little lighter and a little airier. And one of the reasons I picked this bunny was because it had a real spring and a very light background. Go ahead and take your background into your bunny just a little bit. It won't matter. We're going to cover it with paint. Make sure you've got it covered. Up here on the top, around his ears. Because it's hard to go back and fill that in when you start putting in your detail. All right, here we go. Now, one thing I might want to do too, I'm going to stick this in the water, get another little brush, go down here and maybe do a few little sprigs of maybe some grass. Even take some of the paint off. It's still wet. So I'm just dry brushing some of this paint off just to kind of give it a grass illusion, okay? Some of that paint's coming off. Now with acrylic, you have to work fast because it dries instantly and it's kind of going away, but that's all right. Maybe add just a little paint to it. Keep pulling that paint off with my brush, okay? Still light and airy, no long-term commitment here. There we go. He's going to be a cutie. Now his tail's going to be over here, but we'll just cover it. All right. Now let's get into our bunny. And what I usually do with any art piece is go ahead and start with the dark. And then you want to start the same way you start your background on your initial piece. You go from back to front. So you go ahead and let's cover him in a solid color. I'm going to change palettes so they don't get confused and mixed up. And I think what I'm going to start with is a burnt umber. Can't go wrong. It's a great color. Let's get burnt umber going. And these are just apple barrel acrylic paints. They work wonderful. I'm also going to use a little bit of nutmeg brown to lighten it up just a little bit. Then I've got some real hardcore sienna here that we'll use later. Let me get a little black. Start with his ears. Little woodland animals like this are a lot of fun. And they're easy peasy. Okay. I'm going to get a medium-sized brush. Reach up here and get his ears. Keep your art reference close by. You want to even compare. See, I do have a lot more color on my background than this implies, but that's all right. Okay, get up here and let's do your solid dark color first. I'm going to get his ears on here. Using my water, my black paint. Getting the inside of this little bunny's ears. Don't be afraid of black. It really makes or breaks your painting. A lot of people are chicken about using dark values, darks and lights. Your dark and light values absolutely make your painting. I teach a little class and I'll walk over and look and you know, it's just sometimes it's flat and it's because they have not gone as dark as they should or as light as they should. Really lay the paint to it. Don't be afraid of it. Get this black in there. And he'll look funny for a little while till we start getting the detail on him. And to be honest with you, the white paint, even if you mess up, will cover a multitude of sins. So keep that in mind. It's almost like a primer or a gesso. So you can always go back and white it out. Okay, what we're going to do is get the dark part of this bunny and I'm going to kind of outline where everything will go. You'll see as we progress. This is a dark area. His little hair comes up in between his ears. Let's bring this dark around his eye. Now don't get too close to his eye lines because you don't want to lose them, and black will cover everything. So, get close enough. Here we go. Now, I did go ahead and draw him because it takes a little while to get these lines in, but I just did a light sketch of this bunny. I want to keep doing the dark up here. We will get his hair all in there. He's got some cute eyelashes too. Let's get up here. I'm going to change brushes. We're getting into some detail. I keep dipping it into the black and into the sienna and into the umber. And that sort of gets my background. Don't panic though. We will be adding lighter colors as we go. Now, let's get this dark line around his eye. This line that comes out around his face is more sienna. So I'm going to use it to outline the rest of him over here, except for his white cheeks. Now, he comes out about this far. This is kind of a little stately, snooty bunny. He's not your regular Easter basket bunny. This one's got a little attitude. So he's kind of upright and sort of looking, he's posing for you all. Go with the bigger brush again. Be sure and when you get your brush wet, get your excess dipped off into your paper towel or else it'll get runny. Okay. Here we go. Here's his front leg, right here. Here's the back of the bunny, right back there. Like I said, he's a little standing upright, a little snooty. Now, here's in between his legs. There's a dark area right here. Okay, and his body goes all the way down to the bottom of the canvas. You can add some of this dark, just for interest, to your grass, just so that it'll show up. We'll do some of that toward the end. I may even add a few little flowers. All right, now I'm going to have to start getting with this background. I'm going with the big brush now. Let me dip it in my paper, on my paper towel, get rid of my excess. And here we go. Let's start getting this background on here. I've got him lined out. Bottom of his chin is about right in that area. Take your brush and swoop it the way the hair goes. Okay. These big brushes really are cool. Done murals in the past and I use these for an awful lot of my mural work. Okay, he's dark back here. And one reason he's dark back here, not only the color of his fur, but it's further back. So it will cast a darker shadow back there, okay? Now, I don't really want him to look like a watercolor, so you want to put the paint to him. All right, getting up to his face again, so I'm switching brushes. And watch, I just keep dabbing back and forth, 2 or 3 different colors. Let's get some of this detail on his face going. There is a line right here. He's got his head turned, so you just see one eye partial here and the whole eye here. And what really makes a good painting, it doesn't matter if it's a woodland creature, doesn't matter what it is, are eyes and skies. So if your eyes are good and your skies are good, usually it's going to be a good painting. Oops, sorry, that was a little dark. I'm going to add a little bit of white. Where's my big old white? Here it is. Just to sort of lighten up some of these colors. There we go. All right. Back with my sienna. I'm going to dip a little white in there just to lighten some of that up, okay? He's got a whole area to this side that is light. We'll do that after it dries. He's got a little cheek right here. Let's make sure we get it prominent with your white paint. There's a highlight here. All right, now he has a definite, and I'm going to switch brushes because it has to be clean, pure white right here, okay? This is a new brush. All of this area is solid white. Just want to get it on here. Goes down. There's a sharp point, and then it cuts into his face right here. It's just the markings of this particular bunny. Now really, this would make a darling little invitation for an Easter party. Thank you note. You could just sit him out seasonally on an easel if you wanted to. Some of my white up in here. Now there is a little bit of a white line that sort of highlights this eye. Let's get that on there. This cheek is white. Notice how that background that I had on there just goes away. Same way here. Now my pencil marks are still here, and I tell you another good reason to spray your canvas, your lead can get involved in your white and turn it gray. So you want to make sure that it stays put, doesn't get into your painting. Here we go. I'm going to start highlighting some of his fur over here with his sienna. Bring it on down. Now we don't want to get it too light, and I'll tell you why. We're going to be doing some whiskers. We're going to do that with the acrylic paint pen. They are really cool, and they do fine lines beautifully. They're good for word matter, lettering, and it is acrylic paint. It's a great tool to sign your name with, too. A lot of artists struggle with signing their name, and a paint pen is the way to go. Okay, I'm going to get a darker line, just sort of outline his little cheeks. Okay, now let me blend again and get up on top of his nose, and then we've got a real dark area around his nose. Basically, I'm just using 2 or 3 colors right now. Blending white with the 2 or 3 that I've got on my palette. Make sure you get him turned. He's kind of facing that way. And one thing as an artist that you've got to learn to always do if you're copying an art reference is paint what you see if you agree with it or not. And there's going to be a lot of times you look at something and you think, bunnies don't have that kind of marking. But, you know, if it's on here, he does. So you just have to make sure that you paint what you see if you agree with it or not, okay? He will turn out to look like what you're copying as long as you keep that rule of thumb. Here we go. Now look at his cute little eyelash right here. Now to do an eyelash, you pull, start here and pull, okay? There we go. Now let's get back to that dark ear. Okay, here we go. He's got little hair up here in his negative space. Now, I'm going to get even a finer brush, a real pointy brush, and I'm going to start outlining his eyes. Just so we don't run out of time, and I'll show you how to do the fur really quick. Getting up real close here. Let me move this in just a little bit. All right, let's get this line here. There is a line down here. And one thing you need to do too as an artist is hold your pinky down on your, and acrylic dries so you don't get it all over you. But hold your pinky down so it keeps your hand steady as you do this high detail work. If you're out too far, your arm's going to start shaking and you'll start losing your line. So keep your pinky down on your subject like this. Great big eyeball. There's another one over here, but it's not, there's quite a bit of white on this one from the highlight reflection. More eyelash. There we go. Now he's got some little tiger stripy areas. Don't panic, he looks like he's seen a ghost right now. Let's do some sienna to get his eyeball finished. Right in this area. Bring it down here. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white just to lighten up that sienna right in here. And I'm going to tell you, you spend a lot of time on your eyes of your subject. Don't rush through that. It's an important part. All right. Now I'm going to finish this side of his eye. He looks like he's had a rough night. He's got some bags here under his eyes. Now I'm going to detail the corner there. That dark black goes all the way up. While we've got dark black on our brush, let's go ahead and do the dark black on his nose right there. There's a triangle right there. And it's real dark on this side. And then on this side, it almost fades away. And that is because your light source is coming from here. Okay. So it's fading away over here. Now, let's get that black nose going. There's a little teeny area right here that all Easter bunnies have. Let's do a little teeny triangle right there. And a lot of people kind of get hung up on the expression. You know, well, he doesn't have a good expression. Well, you know, you can't help that. Maybe he's just not happy. Here it goes. His mouth is kind of going down, like he's frowning. Maybe he doesn't like Easter. You know, we never know what's going on in this bunny's head. There we go. Now, that sort of gives me my dark areas. I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to start this area here with my sienna and white and get this cheek area built up a little bit. This is a good area right down here. I want you to look. We're going to concentrate on right below his cheek. It's dark, right below his mouth. And that'll help us define his mouth a little more. So I'm into my black. I'm into all three colors, but mainly my black. Now, let's see, let's get this dark all the way down through here. That way we'll see whiskers, etc. Dark, dark, dark right in here. There we go. Now, once I get that dark going, let's go back to just a little bit bigger brush, clean it off, get into my white. Down here, he's got some little whiskers that go all the way up. He's super white right there. Super white right here. And then down in here, it's dark, but it's muddled with your sienna. Here is dark here. He's got a few little tiger stripes, this bunny does, on his little head. We'll do some of that with the paint. Now, while this is, I've got leftover black on this paintbrush. While I do, I want to use leftover right here on his nose because this needs to be real faded and light, okay? Let's do a little faded right in here too, right around his mouth. If it's too dark, dab it off. Right around his mouth right here is just a little, actually it's kind of blue, but I think I'm just going to use the gray for time's sake. And that could also be a film development thing. All right, make him fuzzy, make him fuzzy. Now, up on his nose, I need to get a little more fuzzy and a little more distinct with his hair up here. It's all kind of going at a point up through here. Now, let's use this white and the sienna together, make some of those little tiger lines that he's got on his head. While we're getting into high detail, I want to show you one thing with his eye while I've got a little white. Let's make that eye pop with a highlight right there. Then over here, same thing. Really put a pop on those eyes, okay? He almost looks cartoony with that. There we go. Now let's bring the white around, back up. And while I'm messing with the white, and I've got my favorite brush, I'm going to go ahead and get into his ears. Remember we put that dark on first? Now let's cover some of that dark. It's had time to dry. Let's get up here with this white. And what that dark does is it makes his ears have depth. It's real light over here. Getting into that pure white. He's real light over here, all the way down through here. And that adds a little drama to our bunny, okay? It's really light here. I'm gonna beef his cheek up just a little more, bring the white around here. White's fun. It's almost like you're redrawing this bunny with your white paintbrush. There we go. Now, he's got a really strong white highlight here. That thickens up that ear quite a bit. There he goes. Here we go, let's bring him in. Now, I don't want to overkill, but I do want to bring up some hair right in this area. There's a little sienna up through here, a little sienna up through here. He's starting to come alive. And you can tell where I live from my accent. Here we go. Bring it down, bring it down. My son goes to college with a lot of different people from all over the United States, and they think we talk funny. All right, I'm gonna bring some drama on this bunny down in his little body. Gonna make him kind of hairy, like he's been out in the weather. He's kind of mangy. Well, he is the Easter Bunny, so he's been busy. There we go. Once again, I'm just using all three colors, dipping and slinging. Let's keep this one area lighter than the background so those legs go behind. There we go. Now, if you start getting sloppy, slow down. I tend to do that. So I'm going to slow down just a little bit here. And you know, I like the impressionistic slinging around of your color. It gives your painting kind of a contemporary look, and it's fun and easy to do, but it gives it realism too when you start slinging his little hair around. A lot of contemporary animals right now that people are painting. Cows, chickens. I almost did a chicken, but I thought, you know, it's Easter. All right, let's go down here with this black. It's back in here because it's behind. See how dark I'm getting back in here. Now, I don't mean to switch gears too fast, but I want to get up here and work on his face just a minute. Let me get this sienna, outline his nose just a little more. Okay, outline his mouth just a little bit right over here. He's got a dark line that you can't see very well right here, and it goes on down. That sort of helps finish this side. Okay, now, there we go. this on down just a little bit. This, when you get toward the end of your subject, this is when you do your high detail. This sort of separates the men from the boys. Getting this. His head's still a little mangy looking. There we go. Get the hair in his ears real good. More hair up here. Now, I want to show you how you can use this acrylic paintbrush or paint pen. There we go. He still needs some more detail on his fur. Just a second, let me get this going. Even back here, but we want it to be a little darker, so I'm going to add a little gray to that white back here. Now, get it off to your background here, make it fly away. He needs to look like he smells bad. There we go. Now, I am going to work on his eyes a little more, there we go. Now, one more little area here. Now, let me show you this paint pen. They're cool. This one is a thick one. You want to shake them up really good. I used all my thin ones. Let's see if this is going to work. Want to practice on something? Yeah, we got the corner of it going. Now, for his whiskers, these are great for that. I think he's dry enough, yeah. Let's see if we can't get just the corner of one of these little paint pens. Put it right up to the edge and pull it. Let's see if we can get that boulder. There we go. Pull it. Come on, Mr. Paint Pen, let's work. See if I can get him going here. Well, this one might be a little stubborn. And I probably used it up. But you see, it does real straight, full lines. And then I use it a lot of times just to get extra little areas on there. Right now, on the inside of him, I am going to use paintbrush and some pure white for these really strong whiskers inside, like that. Pull, just take it, start here and pull down. And they are not going to be even. They're going to be wispy and everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this with a paintbrush because my little paint pen's being ornery. Let's get this thin little paintbrush, white paint, and pull, just like that. Gives him a little drama, makes him look like the Easter Bunny. One more right there. While I've got my paintbrush, add a little more drama here and there, especially around his little fur. Now, let's do his tail. It's not on my painting, but what you'll want to do is get the dark underneath so you can see the white. Let's just do a little dark blob right down here. Add a little brown to it. Let that dry just a second. And we'll get a little bit bigger brush. Dig into my white. Just do a little Easter Bunny tail. Right back here in the back. You do that brown first just for depth. Give it kind of a watercolor appeal down in here. Pure white. That tail right back there. Okay. Now let me show you one other thing you might want to do. Let me get this dark. I'm going to wrap it up here. This is kind of a quick version. Guys, I'm going to be honest. If we had more time, you need to probably add more hair, more drama to him. Let me show you a little bit more right here. I want to get some fuzz right down here on his mouth. Just get a little bit of fuzz right here. Make him look a little hairy around his mouth. Harry here. A couple of those whiskers need to come on in. There we go. There we go. That looks more realistic. Add a couple more little wispies up here. Now, isn't he starting to look like the Easter Bunny? Is this what you pictured the Easter Bunny when you were growing up? This one's a little snooty, like I said. There we go. One more strong highlight right there. Let's get that whisker way up. And you know, after you paint a while, people should be able to recognize your work. They should be able to say, oh, that's so-and-so, or that's so-and-so. You should paint, have your own style. Don't copy anyone else's style. It should be yours. You can also, if you wanted to, you could add a couple little flowers down around your grass. That's getting tacky, but it's kind of cute. You could add just a few little flowers down in here, just rough, nothing big. Just add a little interest down in here. Okay. Sweet little spring Easter bunny. There we go. Don't forget to sign your name. Thank you for joining me again. I love the Art Corner. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. See you next time.